Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I made a video actually earlier today, so this is kind of a little follow-up, if you like, just a little sort of appendix to that previous video about Mike Tyson and the age he is, and he's 58. And I wanted to just sort of mention that, yes, he's 58. But he looks old. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes you meet people who are that age and you think, and when they tell you their age, you go, whoa, you don't look a day over 50 or whatever. Or, you might, I don't know, same with women, isn't it? You meet 58, blimey, she's still got it going on, or, whatever. There's normally something, or there can be something with older people where they just seem to have lived a good life and they've preserved themselves and they haven't done anything daft throughout their life. So, and they look young and they still active. I know I used to work with a woman who was in her early 60s and she'd be swimming and running and going on 5-mile runs and everything. And she in the face, she didn't necessarily look that much younger than 60, but body wise she was cut and looked all right. Well, Mike Tyson doesn't look like that. Mike Tyson, to me, looks old. He looks 58. He probably looks like he's in his 60s. And it's weird because I was talking to a couple of my friends who are black fellas, younger than me. They're in their 40s. And we were laughing about it because I was saying, what happened to that black don't crack thing going on? And they were laughing and they were saying, well, it's not a golden rule, But Mike looks old because sometimes you see, black fellas. My mates don't look like they're out of their 30s yet, but they're in their 40s. Do you know what I mean? But Mike looks old. Mike looks old, in the face and even in the body. There's this sort of mottled look, even though he's muscular. There's a mottled look to his skin, and it's all a bit. But then I got thinking about, okay, could he still fight? Well, if you were to drag someone off the street, yes, someone who never had a boxing lesson, but as has been covered already, Jake Paul does know how to fight. He does take the game seriously. Now, someone popped into my head, just as a comparison. It's a loose comparison, but we'll go with it. Just humour me. There was a guy, a former WBC 140-pound champion, and his name was Sal Mambi. Okay, and he finished his career with 45 wins, 18 KOs, 34 defeats, but he was only ever stopped once, and he had 6 draws as well. Now, he began his career in 1969 as a lightweight, and he, like most fighters, he tried to become a contender. And in 1976, he fought Roberto Duran, the lightweight Roberto Duran, that panther-like killer. I've always said if Roberto Duran retired after, let's say, well, even before the first Leonard fight, just his lightweight career alone, he would be in the Hall of Fame. So, he was that good. But Mambi fought him in 76 and lost the 10-round decision. And then later in the year, same year, 76, he fought Antonio Cervantes, who has got to be one of the most underrated fighters of the last 50 years. A very, very good fighter who fought everyone. He got stopped, I think in 4 rounds by, what's his name? This is what happens to you when you get old. Such obvious names slip out of your mind. The one who fought Alexis Aguayo twice. Fuck me, it's going to come at me in a minute. You know who the fuck I'm. Aaron Pryor. Sorry. Yeah, he fought Aaron Pryor, Cervantes, and got stopped in 4 rounds. And Cervantes was, he was a good world champion. People forget this. Sal Mambi fought him and lost a unanimous 10-round decision. But he kept plugging away and he beat some good men, some good, contenders, lightweight contenders. Then he moved up to super lightweight. And he ended up, he fought a guy called Sangsak Wang Surin, who, he lost a split decision over 15 rounds for the WBC 140-pound title. And Wang Surin he was famous because he fought for a world title in only his 3rd fight and won it. stopped. I can't remember the guy's name, but he stopped him in I think 8 rounds. That was only his third fight, and then he went on and fought. He fought actually. He finished with quite an unflattering record, something like 14 wins and 6 defeats, or something like that. But he was renowned for that early career win and becoming a world champ. Well, Mambi lost to him over 15 rounds. That was his first world title fight at 140. But then later on, finally in 83, I think it was, Mambi, was it? No, wasn't that late. It was about 80, I think, maybe 80. So this was 11 years after he turned pro. So it was the long route he took. He finally won a world title. I think it was 1980 with a stoppage of a South Korean fighter. This was in Seoul. He stopped him in 14 rounds. Again, these are the old 15-rounders. And he then went on a very successful string of defences. He made about 7 defences, maybe, and he held on to that WBC belt for a long time before he lost it. He lost a split 15-round decision to a bloke called Leroy Haley. And then they had a rematch, which was over 12 because the WBC had reduced the 15-rounders to 12-rounders. And that rematch was in 83. That's where I'm getting confused. He won it in 80, Mambi did, and lost it in 82, and then they had the rematch in 83. But he did make a quick succession of defences, Mambi. So he was a good fighter. He also lost a 12-round decision to Ronnie Shields, who's been a long-established, very good trainer. And he fought people like... Then he went on the road. He became a sort of gatekeeper. So he's fighting people like, Billy Costello, lost a 12-round decision to him, lost a 10-round decision to Buddy McGirt, who you may know as a trainer now, but was an excellent fighter in his day, a very, very good fighter. And he was even fighting people in 1988. So we're talking 19 years after he turned pro. He's fighting people like Glenwood Brown, John Meekins. In fact, did he fight Glenwood Brown twice? I think he won. He won a split decision the first one, then lost a unanimous decision the second time round. And he just carried on. Boris Blocker, he fought him. Boris Blocker was a champion. These are all champions. These are all good fighters. And he was losing decisions to them. He was still springing an upset, like he beat Larry Barnes, who was undefeated in 17. He beat him on a split decision. This was a good fighter, Sal Mambi. Not remembered with as much reverence as he should do. And then finally, in 2000, he retired. All right. So he retired in 2000, which meant he'd had a 21-year career. He'd been a world champion. He'd made a string of defences. And hopefully he'd made a bit of money as well. I should point out that Mambi was from the United States. He's from the Bronx, New York. Bronx, Brooklyn, something like that. Anyway, he's from New York. And he retired in 2000. 21-year career, fantastic. But then he got itchy feet. And so at the age of 60, he came back and he only had one fight, which was against a guy called Anthony Osborne, who was something like 6-27-1 was his career resume. So a journeyman. And Mambi at the age of 60, and bear in mind what I've just told you about Mambi, if you didn't know. Very good fighter, established world champ, fought everyone, went the distance with Duran and all the others I mentioned, Cervantes. He fought this guy who is his comeback fight. He's 60 years of age. He fights this journeyman. This is a proper fight. This is not an exhibition. This was 10 3-minute rounds, okay? And he loses. He loses a unanimous decision over 10 rounds to a guy with a 6-27-1 record. But he's 60 years of age. Now, what does that tell us? That obviously tells us that a fighter like Sal Mambi, who you could make a case for him, I don't know about the Hall of Fame. I mean, a lot of people get into the Hall of Fame. I think, to be honest with you, shouldn't be there. But let's call Mambi a very, very good fighter, because he was very, very skillful, extremely durable, great chin. Only stopped once in 34 defeats, had 45 wins, had a 21-year career, retired for 8 years after the 21-year career and then came back. He's 60 years of age. He gets beaten by a journeyman. How can you say that isn't something to do with age? How can you say that an established champion, a good fighter, can lose to a guy with a record like that? And it's not got anything to do with age. Well, this is the same with Mike Tyson. Because Mike Tyson, as brilliant as he was, as shockingly good as he was, and people forget what a great boxer Mike Tyson was. I did a video on this before. He was not a slugger. He was not a crude fighter. He was an extremely skillful, fast, explosive, and accurate box fighter, puncher. But beautiful skills as well, and people overlook this. And now he's fighting Jake Paul. And we know what would have happened if Tyson had been, even the Tyson that towards the back end of his career, the one who knocked out Clifford Etienne, he would splatter Jake Paul, splatter him. But he's not that Tyson anymore. That's 21 years or whatever it is after the Etienne fight. So yeah, age. What's the purpose of this video? It's to say that age matters. And then there is a kind of precedent for this sort of thing happening. The difference being that Mambi fought a 10-3's proper fight and lost at the age of 60 against someone he would have stood on his head in a few rounds in his prime. They say Father Time is undefeated. That's pretty much accurate, I think. But I just thought I'd do that little comparison. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, and give me your opinions. Do you remember Sal Mambi? I'm sure some of you do. Some of you I know are even older than me, or commiserations. But I'm sure you remember Sal Mambi as a terrific fighter. If you've got any comments to make about him, I'd be interested to hear, because I do like a little trip down memory lane, looking at these older fighters. So let me know what you think. Comments below. Thank you as always for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, because that helps us a lot. And also, if you're a new guy, a new lady, you want to subscribe, that's brilliant. That helps us out too. Very, very much appreciated. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.